Hey guys, I just want to say thank you, Matthew, for creating these 3x5 cards. So, real quick, these cards have made a huge difference in my life, both personal and business. Before these cards, I didn't have a system. What I did was what most people did. I had a planner. I guess it's a system, but I had a planner. I wrote down what I needed to do or who I needed to call on a sticky notes, put it on my monitor, had a notepad, wrote on a blank sheet of paper. But what I realized was every day I was wasting a lot of times on things that didn't matter as much as I thought it did. And so when I got when I got this in the mail and I read a direction on how to use the cards, that night I wrote down everything on the list, and it has 5 spots for 5 things you wanted to accomplish for the next day. I wrote it down, woke up the next morning, and what did I do? I couldn't even complete 5. I couldn't even complete all the things off the list. I only completed a single item on the list. So that made me realize. I was like, wow, what's going on here? So a week went by. 2 weeks later, what I realized was the things I had on a to-do list before was very broad. It had 20, 50 things on it, 50 things, like steps for a single item on my list. So I took a step back, and each item I put on a to-do list on a 3x5 cards, I made sure it wasn't broad, it was specific. And so the next day, I realized that I was able to complete more than one. And the day after that, instead of writing 5 things on a list, I wrote 3 things on the list. I completed 2 things. And then I continued doing that. And then I got better, and I realized I saved a lot more time. I was more efficient. And not only that, but now I understood that that the things I write down on my to-do list needs to be specific and to the point. For example, I can't just say create a website for my client. What I did was, for that day alone, I wrote down 1, find a website designer, first thing on the list. Second, find a developer, and so on. And so I split creating website into specific steps. Well, at least this worked for me. And I realized that I was able to, knock that out for that day. Before, that would have taken me like about a week. And so I was able to become more effective in how I wrote my to-do list and how I accomplished things. And this really, just made a huge difference, save a lot of time, and I was a lot more efficient overall. When I first got these cards, right, they're pocket size. They fit in your pocket, and you're supposed to carry it everywhere you go. And so I didn't think much of it, but I carried it around, and I had an idea pop up, and I wrote it in the back because there was a spot for that. And I realized as I was walking, like I said, on some days I only had 2 things on the list, and so I realized, oh my God, I need to do this. And so I wrote, fill out the third spot, and my day became a lot less stress free. It was less stressful, and I had a system to go by, and it's a real simple system, 3x5, and that's all it takes. Every single day, you go through them, you follow the direction, and for the first week, believe me, if you're like me, it's going to be a wake-up call. You probably don't think it's going to help you, but after the first week, and then the second, and the third, you're like, holy cow, what was I doing before I started using this system? And so, try it. Just try it. Give it at least 3 weeks. At least 3 weeks. I know these card is for 4 weeks or 30 days, I believe, about 31 days. But give it at least 3 weeks. And if you don't notice a difference, then complain to Matthew. But for majority of people, you should be you should feel a difference in how you go about your day and how much time you save. Peace out.